Want to hang out with me while I clean this up a bit? I say clean it up a bit because there's a lot to be done, but today I just want to make some progress. So I had set the timer, my timer for an hour so that I focus on this for an hour. I tried to make some progress cleaning this up a couple days prior. Didn't happen. So I set this video up. It feels kind of like body doubling, even though you weren't there yet. I know you would be. So I like to use Focus Mate too sometimes, but I didn't want to deal with maybe somebody not showing up and me getting distracted or whatever that may be. So I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it this way. So I had set my timer for an hour, but I sped up this video to about 150%. So I'm looking at this thinking, I'm moving a little slow so far. Can you imagine seeing this in real time? I'm going to give myself the space to do this at my pace. That's my little reminder for me that, I'm watching this back going, I could have been faster, but I wasn't. And I think that's important for me to note and let myself go at the pace I need to go and not judge myself. That's pretty hard right now. But I'm going to talk through this as well while you do what you're doing, and I'm going to see what words come out on my end. What are you working on? What are you working on while I am wondering what I'm going to do about my my messy office and listening to music? And I call it an office. It's kind of a studio. We do some work in here too. Lapaka has a desk in here. If you see on the left hand side, I've got books and then a couple watercolor palettes. Sometimes I put some stuff on the corner of his desk, but I really do my best to let his desk be his, even though he says, no, 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 I don't use my desk. Do what you want to do. But I really try to show that I respect his space by not putting stuff there. That doesn't always go well, but I'm just glad he's kind and patient with me. So his desk will get a bit of a refresh too, even though he doesn't really use it to work at. He uses it to keep things for work. I kind of wanted to do that too. And I really wanted to finally tackle this office. It's been a week, about a week. At the time I made this video, it's been about a week since my daughter and I hosted our second micro market in our backyard, and it was a lot of fun. It was also a lot of work. I think I learned a lot about me, myself, where I'm at, what I want, what I don't want, some things about who I am and who I'm not. And I also just learned a lot in general about, I don't know, I think more of those words will come out. So I almost want to write things down and put some, notes of like heartfelt notes about people that we've met and come across. I think that has been one of the best things about this market is meeting people that we would not have met if we hadn't put ourselves out there and actually had a public event in our backyard. It did take a lot because not only on my end doing a lot of the marketing along with Taylor and the planning, but also making things for the market and me setting up a table so that I could have some things that I made. I don't know what that rolled up paper came from, but I'm going to make something with it eventually. So I like doing that because the Whimsical Misfit, started out as, making art and journals because I love paper and I love making things. And okay, I had to turn on a fan, so hopefully you can't hear it. If you can, just know that I'm staying cooler because at this time in my life, suddenly the heat comes in. It feels hot and I just can't. I can't even. I need a fan. Having my own personal fan has been life changing. If you're experiencing hot flashes and you don't have your own personal fan, I highly recommend getting one. It changed my life. I love it. I can't. I probably won't go talking on for the rest of this video about it, but let me just tell you, if I did, it would be worth it. You're going to want to get your own personal fan. But I think for this market, it taught me a lot about me and what I want and what I don't want. But I know that I think before I paused this audio to turn on my fan, I was talking about, the things I like to make creatively, and that makes me think of where I'm at in life right now as I'm in my late 40s and trying to decide, like, what do I want to do, for work. I started drawing again a few years ago, and that led to me making the art that you might see in these videos, including journals and just exploring. If I got a creative idea and I want to try something, sometimes I'll record a video and we'll do it together. And I wanted to start making my own like art, to whether I put it in journals or not. I just wanted to start forming figures or being able to paint something or draw something, because I had wanted to do that and I couldn't. And I got so frustrated with myself. So frustrated that then I would feel completely blocked, couldn't pick up a pencil or paint or anything. I didn't want anything to do with art. And no, I wasn't being kind to myself. Like, that was something I had to learn in the last few years, that of course I can't pick up watercolor paints and paint an owl with that looks the way I think it should look, because, well, I hadn't practiced painting at that point. So how am I supposed to know? Watching videos of people doing it, and where it looks really easy, they might have a video that's sped up that looks like it's not edited, but those people likely have been doing it for a really long time, or maybe their brain works different, and they can, sometimes I'll hold things up to the camera because I guess I felt like doing that. But sometimes I think people's brains work differently, like they can draw a shape or paint a shape and add to it, and maybe that comes easier and natural for some than me. But I'm grateful that I'm being a lot more kind to myself now, instead of kicking myself going, why couldn't you paint something that was how you envisioned it? Well, because that's not usually what happens. As I'm trying to choose the right height for my table, and then reminding myself, I can change this. Let's just keep moving. But I think it's okay now. I feel like it's okay for me to paint something and for it to not look as I expected, and to trust myself in the process more. And if I really do feel like I want something to look different, and I'd like either, not usually more detail, that's not really what I want, but let's say I wanted more detail, then okay, I can practice that and be kind to myself, realizing that if I don't know how, I just can't do it yet. And maybe I will if I stay interested in something. Because sometimes I'll try something and I won't have any interest in it, and I'll just think, that's not really feeling it. So I'm going to move on to something else. And I like feeling more that that's okay. A lot of what I experienced, not even just in childhood, but through most of my adult life, is really coming out and my creative process. And look at all those pieces of, I don't know, paper scraps and stuff. They could be ephemera, they could be journal covers, who knows. I really want to make like three-dimensional art that's different layers, because sometimes when I do flat art on a paper, I want to add layers to it to make it stand out. So I think I want to use a lot of that, I think, to start making things like that. But it's been some creative exploration as I venture down this path that I'm on. For over a year too, I sold on Whatnot, and I say sold on Whatnot, but I wanted to create and be part of a community and kind of see what that looked like. And I loved it. I did a lot of live streams. You might see them in the live craft and chat videos where I'll be making something and talking with people. Those were my favorite shows. Getting to know people, making things. Sometimes people were also artists, or they liked to write and use journals, and sometimes people didn't like those things at all. They just wanted to hang out. And I did love that. I loved that a lot. And I miss that. I'd like to find that somewhere else. And I think that hosting markets in my backyard's not going to be that. That was a lot. But I welcome that to come in whatever that may look like, even if it ends up being here. because I haven't posted consistently here, and but know that I always come back because I like it here. I watch a lot of YouTube videos every day. Music, some people they're talking, they're doing like, um, not really get ready with me's, but videos like this, or I can't even think of any names, but or writing in journals or body doubling. I like those videos. So I have a lot of time on YouTube that I listen and watch videos during my day. Everybody I watch and listen to helps me get through my day, and sometimes I want to contribute to that too, and something like this. And also it helps me stay focused because for this hour I stayed pretty focused. Even though mentally I thought, oh, I want to save these scraps and do something. Oh, I don't like it when the camera moves. Also, too, I use my phone, which is okay, but when there's natural light, sometimes it looks a little bit bright like this. I feel like there could be a better way to do this. So if you use an actual camera for your videos, let me know, what do you use? I would love a recommendation so I don't have to go buy things that don't work. Something that's easy to upload to either a MacBook or an iPhone would be really great. I would be curious to see that. Maybe that would also, help me with making videos in the future. I used to do that a lot. In fact, I am one of the things I am exploring along my creative journey is not only learning to be kind to myself and all the things of unlearning, but it's figuring out who I am and not who I was told to be, but also what do I want to do, like for work. I've had a hard time actually finding, I guess you could call it a job, or it could be freelance. I really do love, I guess you could call it video production and editing, but I'm not really niche. I don't know if you'd call it community, but just local small to medium businesses. I used to work a lot with them. I don't think that's where I want to go with that now. In fact, I'm willing to learn completely new skills, um, to find people who are a good fit for me and vice versa. Although I would enjoy staying with video production and editing. Maybe there's somebody out there who has their full-time job and they have a passion project and they would like for somebody to help them with recording and editing so they don't have to do that and they can focus on other things. I think that'd be a lot of fun, even if it's in person. Gulp. I do like remote work because then I don't have to leave the house and my introverted ass can stay home in this office slash studio. But I am very open to working with someone in person, following them around with a camera. Maybe they want to edit stuff. I don't know. I'd be open to finding something like that, but I'd also be willing to learn a completely new skill. And I want to be able to find something that I can do for work that fits me, where the person that I'm working with, wherever that may be, maybe it'll be like a 9 to 5 type of job. Maybe it will be freelance, but that person also, values my skills and what I can contribute, and I can learn and grow from there. Because a couple of things I was thinking of exploring was I've been thinking about, paralegal work, and that's something that's stuck in my mind, which I would really like to do. But I don't want to work all of the time, where there's lots of like deadlines and things where I have to work my entire days and nights and weekends all the time. I do like to balance my life and work really well and hard while I'm working and also enjoy my time off, and everything balances out. So I'm leaning towards not that. I'm also interested in, I've been listening, not really reading, about people who are coding their own cyber decks, with the Raspberry Pi. What do you call that? But they're making their own cyber decks and there's some coding involved. So I'm curious about learning about coding. Coding, what's it called? Python. Coding, or is it programming with Python? And seeing where that takes me. One thing I do absolutely want to do is study and get my certification in project management. I feel like that would help me in a lot of different ways. And that's something that I would like to add to my skills list, is the actual certification to kind of fill in the gaps. I've been an entrepreneur since before my daughter was born, and she's 23 now. So I know I've learned a lot, and I know that for the most part, after she was born, being an entrepreneur and operating a business, no matter what kind of business it was, I did it for survival. So there was a lot of things I didn't learn because the balancing of working in and on the business did not happen. If it wasn't for survival and absolutely needed to be done right now, it didn't often happen. Yes, taxes, I hired out for that, but I did mostly everything myself and wasn't able to stick with my strengths. And with the exception of my one of my most recent business of my video production company, I wasn't actually able to hire anyone to help me with that. Thankfully, I was. But there's a lot I could learn too. I'm not leaning towards going to get an actual business degree unless there's something I could learn, but I would like to learn that project management and maybe some coding and maybe learning that. I learned HTML and how to use that. So I know it's very different. I'm sure it's very different. I don't know it's very different, not yet, but I would like to learn it. There's so many new things I want to learn, but I would love to learn some skills that I can use in the job market. And I know things are changing very much right now, especially with AI. But I want to learn things so that my brain can get that satisfaction of doing new things, new challenges. I wanted that I can use in the workplace. And if I had to, support my family through a sole income, I want to work to be able to do that. So there's a lot that goes through my brain with that too. And I'm, let's go. I want to do this. So I'm not fully sure which direction to go with that yet. And I know I need to just focus on the next step and lean into it. And that I do have time. It's not too late. A lot of people do great things, and, a whole different perspective, a whole different kind of life can begin, in our 40s, especially in our late 40s. And I'm learning what that looks like, to where I can say I embrace it and I believe it and that I actually feel it. I'm not there yet, but almost. But for right now, I'm going to celebrate that, the progress of knowing that, and also the progress that I made some pretty good headway on organizing this office. It's better than it was. And I can, you know what, sometimes all we can do is just celebrate wins. I do wish, I wish I had the answers for what I want and what I'm going to do, and feel, I guess it would be a false sense of security knowing that this is what I'm going to do and this is what it's going to look like. And this is how much I'm going to love it. And this is how amazing I'm going to feel. And this is how I can cheer everyone else on who's also doing this. But I think even when I've had that feeling in past years in my life, it was a false sense of security, because it's never going to be all figured out. But also, one of the many other things I'm experiencing is this new feeling of what it's like to trust myself in the process. I can't guarantee that I'm going to figure out what I want to do and I'm going to love it and stick with it, and that it's going to be this linear journey, because it's not like that, right? It's not like that. I really feel like it's going to be me taking the next step and maybe getting my certification. And then, oh, I'm going to look into this. This is a good fit. Leaning into that, and like many other things in my life, gathering my skills, my strengths, and finding a job or a client or something that looks like that, whatever that is, and leaning into it and being in that moment. And then if it changes, going on to the next thing, because it's kind of how it's been for me in life. It's never been cut and dry. I didn't do the graduate from high school, go to college, get my degree, and get a specific job, a specific job. I really liked putting that heart together. There's an owl kit. I don't know if it's paper. It is paper, and you fold it and you glue it together, and you can hang it from the ceiling. My daughter and her partner got that for me, and I'm going to put it together. That is really cute. That's something I swapped for at the market. You could put some water in it, and that's where you put like little flowers in it. So I really like that. I think I've been really drawn to the dandelions in our yard. We're pretty much an unofficial dandelion farm. So I kind of want to I kind of want to make a sign for our fence, one of our fences that says "Welcome to Dandelion Farms." But for us, not saying we're just going to welcome any stranger. You know what I mean? Just like for us, like we welcome ourselves to Dandelion Farms. Also, there's a lot of great nutrition in dandelions too. So the tops, the leaves, and the roots. So I want to make. Oh, I saw this video somebody made using the dandelion blooms, petals, the flower part. Made a tea and then used some gelatin and made dandelion gummy bears. And you guys, I have gummy bear molds. Oh my goodness. If signs are a thing, that was a sign. So maybe we'll make those together. I also really like exploring with plants and starting the garden part of my house. Oh, this was really interesting too. This is like um deer antler. It's a silver necklace and the charm is like deer antlers, and I saw it draped on the back of my sewing machine. It was caught on like that lever where you can put the foot of the sewing machine up and down, and then hanging around the back on something else. And I thought, well, I don't remember grabbing it. I don't remember dropping it there. So that was really interesting. I don't know what was up with that. So yeah, I do like the plants and the gardening aspect of it too. So I kind of want to lean more into different whimsical aspects of life and not just the journal art part, especially on this channel, but also on like Facebook and Instagram. Because at the time of making this video, I also use Facebook and Instagram. I do think I'm expecting a very definitive, answer for what I want to do or do next. And because, and part of me feels some guilt for not feeling that, because I know if right now I had to go out and find something to take care of the family, I would do it. And it wouldn't be this whole process of healing, learning, unlearning, exploration, creativity, because it it would be different. So it's hard to not feel guilty that my partner has given me space to do that. But he has encouraged me to lean into this and follow my heart. And so that guilt and that struggle with it is totally a me thing. I'm thankful for my therapist because I know I've got a lot of work to do. And I also feel very supported. But damn it, it's painful. It is so painful to look in the mirror and say all the things, or think, metaphorically look in the mirror. But for today, at least for right in this moment, not the whole day, all I'm doing is focusing on putting some things away in the office and letting my hands do the work, although my brain is thinking of the next organizational design for this office and the final one. You guys, is going to look really cool. I think it looks really cool now. Yes, it's a mess, but you know what? Nothing's perfect. So this is me embracing the journey. I saw we when we first moved here last September, we haven't even been in this house for a year. We Around Christmas time, we went and saw neighbors across the street who recently moved out. Doggone it. We really liked them. But the office of one of the couple who lived over there, one of them, they had an office that was beautiful, and I would love to create our version of that. And I say ours because we share an office, and I actually like that. I do like that. But we're gonna make that our version of that. And I like that I didn't feel like it had to look like theirs because it was, oh my goodness, it was beautiful. There was this, what do you call it, live edge wood for, I think, this is how I remember it, it could be wrong, for the desk. And there were like the big giant bulbs, two of the lamps that are like the big giant bulbs hanging down from inside the closet. So the closet was the desk, and there was a couple shelves that were the partial length of the closet. It was gorgeous. There wasn't a ton of stuff on the desk. I'm like, where'd you put all your stuff? There was like two, I think, armoire cabinets against the wall, and then there was like this large, like one of those Husky brand tool chests, a white one with like a white faux fur on top, and all the drawers was like a lot of art supplies. And it was so, and there was this giant, like, I think it was an amethyst, like, is it a geode when there's the bumpy crystals inside? It was cut in half and then displayed on a giant stand. It was gorgeous. And it took me a few weeks. I was really stuck on that. Like, I really love that, but I knew that that's not, I love that for them and that is their business, but that's not what I want to create here. Just because it's not me, it's not us. But we're going to create our own version of that, but we've got a lot of other projects to do. So my goal for now is to work on organizing this so it feels right in this room for me to work in it, whether it's creative, whether it's studying, whether it's any of the things. I'm going to do the certification next. That's really, I really feel drawn to. And then I'm going to continue exploring and looking into Python and other things to see what I want to do with that. Because maybe I want to do that for funsies. Maybe I don't want to do that for work. I think it would be really cool to find somebody to work with. It's like, can you help me with my videos? Something really chill, really relaxed. But who knows? I'm sure whatever it is, I'm sure I will love it. Um, because I love helping people make videos. There's some, I don't know. Anyways, I kind of got off of that because I was talking about organizing the office. But I guess I could talk about whatever I want because this is my video. And yeah, I just want to keep exploring. But then what's my I don't want to say destination goal. I'm not talking about like, end of life, but like for this sort of a chapter of figuring out what I want to do. Like even if let's say I get my project management certification and I start coding and I can, work with something like that, because I don't think not all of that is going to get turned over to AI, at least not right now. Maybe I work with somebody who wants a human because AI makes mistakes or something and I love it, but I don't, maybe I want to grow into a similar, like, I don't I don't know that I want to do one specific thing for forever unless it changes or I get to grow with it more. I don't know. I actually think it would be great to find, whether it's a company or a group or even a nonprofit, to work with where we align on some core values, core ethics, and it becomes about helping to move forward with the mission and the vision. I think that would work, because then too I could find out what skills are fit my job there and whatever I want to grow into. Is there an opportunity for me to go this way, whatever this is? I'd be open to that too. I guess I want to be open to saying, hey, I'm willing to go where it takes me, but also there's that guilt again. Because why do I get the freedom to say that? You know? Uh, I just want to do stuff and I want to do it now. So, but I have tried to find a job, applied to jobs, have gotten nothing. And I've done the whole, edit your resume. Um, Actually, I wouldn't say I haven't gotten anything. There's been a couple of opportunities, like let's say, one in Seattle. And talking to my husband, he says, "Do you really want to drive to Seattle? I don't think you do. You can do what you want, but you don't have to." You don't have to do this. You can stay and dance in your. Oh, look at this. So this flag, oh, I love it. This is my first pride flag that I own, and it was made by Finnegan Koss. At the time I am making this video on TikTok. Finnegan Koss, right? Is that the name? Yes. And also he has an Instagram account but doesn't use it very much. But on TikTok, Finnegan Costs, if you need a wig or even a costume or something in regards to your cosplay outfit, you're gonna want to check out Finnegan. What a beautiful human and a wonderful soul. I love that we got to meet at the last micro market. And he made that flag out of fabric. I have never seen a pride flag like that, so of course I had to bring it home. I would love to frame it in the dining room and maybe have like type up a little, like something about, the origin of the pride flag or something like that. I don't know. Put it on the dining room wall. I don't know that it's gonna go there, but it's mine. So we can do what we want with it. I'm so excited. I love it so much. That's one of the things I love about, meeting creative people, artists. Like we all see things so differently and we get so passionate about whatever it is that we're doing. Oh, can you hear Letty? She's having a dream. She's doing her little snort and her little poofy jowls. I don't know if you can hear her or if this microphone takes out all those noises, but she's having a dream. And she should be resting right now because she's going to get a bath later and her nails done, and she's going to be so pissed at me. But I got her a little chewy toy from Mudbay. I forget what it's called, but she'll love it. She may not forgive me, but at least it'll give her a little happiness. And I actually got her sunscreen too, because I've been wondering. I've been putting coconut oil on Letty's back, trying to help with her dry skin and the little yeast factory that is her. But also, too, since we put on sunscreen and sit in the sun, she loves to sit on the deck in the sun. You might have seen that on my Instagram stories. But, her skin, like her fur, is not thick enough to prevent sunburn. So I got her some sunscreen for her nose and her back at Mud Bay. Hopefully she doesn't mind because she's putting it on. She doesn't get a choice. We all care about sunscreen and skincare in this house. And shout out to Taylor, our licensed esthetician. I'm super proud of her. She's doing so much. If you don't follow her on Instagram, I think that you should. Right now, at the time of making this video, it's Aesthetics by Taylor J. Or if you're following me on Instagram, you can. I post about her all the time, and you could see her on my followers if that's changed. So, oh, and I'm going through my market tote. I'm actually I'm supposed to be having a booth at a market close to home in September. So like a little less than 2 months from now. So this will probably be one of the totes I bring. It's kind of bummed because these two gold frame pieces, I really like the pieces in there, but the mats around them have black smudges on them. So I'm going to have to replace those before going to the next market. Well, I know for my own art, I can kind of lean into that and give some little smudgy boos on them, like some smudges and stuff like that, but not for those. I was really kind of bummed. And I'm looking at the closet and in this video, and I think it's going to be really cool to make a sort of desk in there where we can put the printer and store some things. But I want it to look really nice. Like Not, it won't be super fancy. It won't have any live edge wood, but it's going to have the printer there. And it's going to be some creative space with some lights, and it's going to be like the cozy, almost like cottage-ish vibes that we like. And it's going to be great. I like that it's not going to look like that, although I embrace it now in the process. I'm going to sit here and look at it until I can smile at it and just say, "Hey, this is really great." Those are some pieces of fabric that I got. Actually, some of them are tablecloths, but I wanted to use them for fabric and projects. And I have my paper rack where I store some paper and some journal projects. And I also got some bags, some like purse bags from the thrift store that I wanted to kind of redo. And I thought, even if I don't want to redo them, I know people who like to do that sort of a thing, so they can have them. Um, but I really liked those. Let me know if you want a tour. I'll give you a tour of all those treasures. Also, I have some fabric that's pretty lightweight, and it is so I wanted to find an outfit set that has like the shirt and maybe some shorts for sleeping, because if I get hot during the day and carry on a fan, let me tell you, in the summertime, even on the cool nights, when I want a blanket on, I feel more secure. Just I guess that's just the way it is. But I want shorts to sleep in, and sometimes I cannot find. Sometimes I do use my husband's, and then the longer ones they can get kind of hot. So I just wanted like a cute little t-shirt and short set, but I can't find any of the other quality. So I think I'm just going to make some shorts of my own with some of the fabric that I have. And when it gets colder, I kind of want to make my own sweats too, like the patchworky ones. At the time I'm making this video, I see a lot of people making patchworky ones on like Instagram, and they're like redoing or remaking sweats that they find in the thrift store, and I love that. And I want to do my own and make them for anybody in the house, really. It's just something different, or not different, but like something that I want that I can't find in the store. And I don't know, maybe I'll adapt one at the thrift store. Heck, maybe I'll find one at the thrift store and I'll just be like, look, I like it the way it is. I'm just going to wear it. But thankfully, I've got a sewing machine, and have, I don't have elastic, but I can get some, or I can do a little tie string. But I just want to make some of those. Like, there's at least 20 different creative projects I want to try. Thankfully, I've crossed a bunch of them off the list this year. Oh, don't drop it. Okay. I did some air dried clay projects, made some trinkets. I'm working on a little trinket type dish. I made one for Taylor. It looks like a monstera leaf, and the color combo I think was kind of inspired by the Avatar movie. The movie where, oh, not it's not the cartoon or the ongoing one. It's the movie that has, like, I think it's like now three movies. But I like the Monstera leaf color combo that I did, and I have another leaf dish. And I also want to make I started a little base, and I want to do, I'll just have to show you a video. I'm having a hard time explaining it, but I want to finish the back of it. So it could be like a piece for somebody's, like if you have a little space where you like to put a candle, or maybe a little something for an altar, something like that. I want to make some of those because I think they're fun. And I like experimenting with air dry clay. It does remind me of my childhood, putting on headphones, listening to music, and making things out of clay in my room with the window open, especially during the cold fall months. Oh my goodness, I just love that. So I experimented some with that. I made some pins out of bottle caps, soda tabs, and safety pins. I do want to keep doing that. I made a bunch of them for the trinket swap. I kind of overdid it. When if you, I was going to say, like, when you eat too much of like cookies or something and you can't have them for a while, it almost reminds me of like, I never really had a tequila night. Well, actually, maybe I did. Like when you have something and because you're enjoying it and you overdo it and then you can't do it for a while. That is me right now with acrylic painting, clay trinkets, and those beer bottle buttons. So, or the beer cap buttons, because I overdid it with those things, and now the thought of it makes me go, I don't want to do that. but I want to do them again. So I think I might do a little thing where I set my timer for 5 minutes and just kind of like get some paint on them and like play with it and ease myself back into it because I want to make things with them and I don't want to look at those things as if I'm disgusted with them because I made them. I put so much love into them and I know I'm going to want to do it again. And so maybe I'll work on it that way. That might be another thing to talk about in therapy too. Like, how can I make myself not hate this anymore? Because I overdid it. I overdid it to the point when I was doing the acrylic paint one, my wrist and thumb hurts. And so either I hurt it doing that in a certain way for too long, or that's just how my thumb is. So we'll see. I'm not really sure. I'll have to explore that on a different day. But I think I'm making some really good progress on this. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I am less looking at the messy parts like, oh, I have more to do. Because I'm really looking at the desk. Because that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting at the desk. It is fairly like, for me, it's like, I mean, it is clean and organized. Like, I have everything where it needs to be. Everything is, pretty tidy. So I am feeling good about what I'm working on right now. I've got my coffee, I've got my water, I've got my little jar of sticks. Don't know why. I really like having my sticks that I found in the yard. I think one of them is a root, but I'm really liking how this is turning out. And I think it's going to help me on these next steps of figuring out what I want to do, but also enjoying some creative projects because I got a couple journal designs I want to work on. Let's look at this. Oh, it's so much better. Oh, I love those little toolboxes. So much better, especially here. This is where I'm sitting right now. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me while I did all this and listening to me talk. I hope you had a great time doing whatever you are doing, and I will see you next time. Subscribe.